Donald Trump just made numerous incriminating admissions during a disastrous press conference in the Oval Office when he was talking about the partial release of Epstein files from last Friday. 3 million documents were released. We believe there's at least 3 million more documents still missing, perhaps 50 million pages that are missing. Let's take a look at what Donald Trump said. Here he says the Department of Justice needs to move on. He claims that he is vindicated, and he says, there's no references to me. It's just Bill Clinton in there and other people, which is 100% false. Let's watch this, play this clip.
That have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing has turned out, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that, because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well. Okay, one more.
And then Donald Trump talks about suing Trevor Noah, who hosted the Grammys, because Noah did a joke about Donald Trump and the Epstein Island. And Donald Trump here refers to Epstein's Island as Jeffries. What do I know about Jeffries? I wasn't there. The whole point, though, is Epstein brought his island to you in Mar-a-Lago, and you in return brought your spa to Epstein's home, and Epstein sex trafficked at Mar-a-Lago. There are 38,000 references to Donald Trump in 5,000 documents within the Epstein files, and you sure seem to pretty quickly call him Jeffrey. Sounds like someone who knew him really well. What they would say. Here, play this clip.
They want to see a shutdown in.
Mr. President, are you going to sue Trevor Noah? Last night in a post, you alluded that something could be coming.
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. He's a lightweight. This guy. He's a terrible. I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable. But he was a lousy host. I'd say not as bad as Jimmy Kimmel, but pretty close. And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing.
And then throughout the whole day, Donald Trump's been panic posting about Epstein. Donald Trump posted the following on his social media platforms. Not only wasn't I friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazebag lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and or my presidency. So much for the radical left's hope against hope, some of whom I'll be suing. Additionally, unlike so many people that like to talk trash, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all of the crooked Democrats and their donors did. Not so much, Donald. And also 38,000 references to you with some of the most disgusting and grotesque allegations and FBI 302 and informant reports about you that were in the files that were produced. You've got a lot of explaining to do. And if your excuse is that you weren't friends with Epstein, you were Epstein's best friend. Objectively, you were his best friend. You flew with him on his plane and he flew on your plane over and over again. So don't be like, oh, we didn't even know each other. Also notable this morning, Donald Trump's been posting photos of Steve Bannon, Which is interesting because Donald Trump hasn't talked about Steve Bannon a lot lately. So why would he be mentioning Steve Bannon? Oh yeah, Steve Bannon is mentioned all over the Epstein files. Steve Bannon was communicating with Epstein about every aspect of Donald Trump, from the presidency to the election, to interfering in foreign government elections, to being a strategic advisor for the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, who was then working with Epstein in order to have communications with foreign leaders as part of Epstein's cabal. Let's take a look at this one right here. Steve Bannon to Jeffrey Epstein in April of 2019, 3 months before Epstein's arrest. And this is who Donald Trump is saying, very good guys who were treated very unfairly. You see, Donald Trump is terrified, so he's saying, Steve, we're still good, right? Steve, you're my friend, right? Be quiet, Steve. Don't say anything. Steve Bannon to Jeffrey Epstein in April 2019, 3 months before his arrest. Quote, we need to work around your 38. First, we need to push back on the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist. Or how about this right here, an email from Epstein in 2015. 1 more week till birthday. Where are you? I hope David Koch got your message. Donald's financial disclosures are his Achilles heel. It should also be noted that Donald Trump and his DOJ have been deleting files that include Donald Trump's name on them throughout the day. I did a video on this morning, and there are files that talk about Donald Trump and Epstein together, and Epstein says, I brought this one for you, and accusations about Donald Trump and young girls, and they deleted those. They put it back up. They deleted it. Also, they leaked the names of so many victims and survivors, which was like the one task was to protect the survivor's identity, that the survivor's attorney just filed an emergency motion before the federal judges, Judge Berman and Judge Engelmeyer in New York, saying, please, Judge, you've got to do something, claw back what's been put out there, because our survivors, the survivors have been re-traumatized. Our clients, the survivors, have been re-traumatized. Judge Berman just responded moments ago to Attorney Henderson and U.S. Attorney Clayton. Thank you for your recent letters dated January 30th and January 31st, 2026, and February 1st, 2026, and February 2nd. I recognize your concern and the urgency of the issues you have presented. I will set aside a conference on Wednesday, February 4th at 11:30 a.m. If that is convenient for you. You are invited to bring your clients. I am not certain how helpful I can be, and I encourage you to continue to resolve open issues in good faith. Federal Judge Berman, because you'll note the Trump regime took the position that federal judges can't appoint independent monitors and don't have an independent ability to enforce the Epstein Transparency Act or compliance because it doesn't contain a private cause of action. Remember when Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie tried to get an independent monitor to precisely protect against what just happened, and they were rejected for doing it, and the DOJ opposed it? Well, they seem awfully prescient right now. Also, you have Donald Trump attacking Thomas Massie, one of the co-sponsors behind the Epstein Transparency Act. And here's what Donald Trump says. People are saying that Thomas Massie became a liberal because of his new wife. Blessed be their marriage is supposedly a radical left flamethrower. This new union all went so fast that maybe he didn't know what he was getting into, but nevertheless, he is an absolutely terrible and unreliable Republican, perhaps a rhino, or maybe even worse. And Donald Trump's attacking him because he co-sponsored the Epstein Transparency Act. So Trump is attacking Massie right now because, again, 38,000 references to Donald Trump on 5,000 documents. Not very good, Donald. And people aren't buying what you're selling. Also, reporters were asking Donald Trump at this press conference about whether Jeanine Pirro, the Fox host, who's now the top United States attorney in Washington, D.C., will be dropping the criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell because Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina said that he won't support any approval of Trump's new Federal Reserve Chairman nominees until the criminal case or investigation against Powell is closed. And Donald Trump says, I don't care. She's going to take it to the end and go after Powell. So Donald Trump, referenced 38,000 times in the Epstein files, thinks he's vindicated while he goes after Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, for just trying to preserve his independence. Play this clip.
Questions, please.
Mr. President, speaking of the Fed, would you like to see Jeanine Pirro drop the investigation into Chairman Powell to help? Senator Tillis has basically said that, he's not going to really be working with the administration.
Senator very soon.
So would you like to see the investigation?
No, she's going to take it to the end and see. Like, you're doing a small renovation, and they've spent almost $4 billion doing a small renovation. I'm doing buildings. I built a hotel, the Waldorf it's called, and I did it for around $200 million. It's a much bigger job. They're spending it could be $4 billion. I'll tell you what, I don't even see an end in sight. I feel badly for the new Fed chairman because he may not have an office for 4 years. I don't know what these people are doing. So it's either gross incompetence or it's theft of some kind or kickbacks. I don't know what it is, but Jeanine Pirro is incredible and she'll figure it out. But no, you want to take it and just find out what happened, because we can't go around doing a renovation of a small little complex, very small, couple of little buildings, and spend billions and billions of dollars on it. Something went wrong. We have to find out what it was. Yeah, please.
My cat hears the news with me every morning, and honestly, she handles it way better than I do. Probably because she starts her day with Smalls. This podcast is sponsored by Smalls. Is the news making you want to cuddle up with your cat? Smalls fresh cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free, 100% human-grade ingredients you'd find in your fridge. And it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. For a limited time, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/Meidas. Starting with Smalls is easy. Just share info about your cat's diet, health, and food preferences. Then Smalls puts together a personalized meal plan for your cat. No more picking between random brands at the store. Smalls has the right food to satisfy any cat's cravings. Last time I fed my cat Smalls, she loved it. Legitimately, we did a taste test, put 2 food bowls side by side, and she immediately went to Smalls. My cat actually follows me around every morning until I give her Smalls. Still not a believer in Smalls? Forbes ranked Smalls the best overall cat food, while BuzzFeed said my cats went completely ballistic for this stuff. Smalls is possibly my favorite sponsor ever because my cat's breath is so much better and her fur is so much softer ever since I switched to Smalls. This year's winter coat has been so soft and healthy. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. That's a big deal. And the team at Smalls is so confident that your cat will love their product that you can try it risk-free. That means they will refund you if your cat won't eat their food. So stop guessing which meals will upset their stomach. For a limited time, because you are a MeidasTouch podcast listener, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/Meidas. One last time, that's 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/Meidas.
Next, Donald Trump was asked at the disastrous press conference about tearing down the Kennedy Center because Trump said he's shutting it down for 2 years. Here's what Donald Trump said. Play this clip.
Find out what it was. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you. Speaking of renovations, you announced you wanted to build a new and spectacular entertainment complex at the Kennedy Center.
Right.
Do you plan on tearing it down, and how much will all of the renovations cost?
Probably around $200 million. And, it's funny, in real estate and building, I've done so much of it. I've done so well with it. You want to sit with something for a little while before you decide on what you want to do. And, we sat with it. We ran it. It's in very bad shape. It's run down. It's dilapidated. It's sort of dangerous. Things fall out of ceilings. You've seen it. And we had some big events there. We had a lot of great events there over the last year, but you can't do any work because people are coming in and out, and you have the workmen. We have a marble man over there the other day. He said, every time I put down a piece of marble, people are stepping on the marble. They don't even have time to dry. And you can't do the same quality job if you close it, and, we're fully financed. And so we're going to close it, and we're going to make it unbelievable, far better than it ever was. And we'll be able to do it properly. I was thinking maybe there's a way of doing it simultaneously, but there really isn't. And we're going to have something that when it opens, it's going to be brand new, beautiful. I'm not ripping it out. I'll be using the steel. So we're using the structure. We're using some of the marble, and some of the marble comes down. But when it's open, it'll be brand new and really beautiful. It'll be at the highest level.
And yet again, who's paying for this? And we all know the real reason Donald Trump shut down the Kennedy Center. The staff were quitting, people weren't showing up, and the performers and artists and musical acts were canceling their shows, and it was embarrassing. Finally, Donald Trump is asked about the Wall Street Journal report about the royal family from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, giving Donald Trump hundreds of millions of dollars to invest in Trump's company that didn't have a product, so it was being funneled directly to Trump. And then in return, the United Arab Emirates got access to our most highly classified semiconductor chips, which every prior administration protected because it destroys our national security interests. And Donald Trump says he knows nothing about it. Play this clip.
Mr. President, the Wall Street Journal reported that the royal family of Abu Dhabi invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the World Liberty Financial. Can you explain why you decided to take that investment? Was that a transaction?
Well, I don't know about it. I know that crypto is a big thing and they like it. A lot of people like it. The people behind me like it. My sons are handling that. My family is handling it. And I guess they get investments from different people, but I'm not. I have all I can handle right now with Iran and with Russia and Ukraine and with all the things we're doing. So I don't know exactly, other than, I'm a big crypto person. I'm the one that probably helped crypto more than anybody because I believe in it. And the reason I believe in it is because if we don't do it, Scott, I think we can say then China's going to do it, right?
Yes, sir.
If we don't do crypto, then China's going to do it. And it's just like AI. We're leading AI by a lot. And if we weren't leading, China would have led. They're very capable. They're very good.
Really, you know nothing about that? Because as Rebecca Ballhaus in the Wall Street Journal reports, 4 days before Trump's inauguration, lieutenants to an Abu Dhabi royal secretly signed a deal with the Trump family to buy a 49% stake in World Liberty Financial for $500 million. The buyer paid half up front, steering $87 million to Trump family entities and $31 million to Witkoff entities. The investment was backed by the UAE National Security Advisor, Tahnoon bin Zayed. The deal put two executives at his company on the board with Eric Trump and Witkoff's kid. At the time, Abu Dhabi Royal invested in World Liberty. The company had no products at all, so it was just basically money going to Trump, and then Trump gave him access to our classified semiconductor chips. Judge for yourself. Form your own opinions. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And thanks for watching.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.